So this will be the very first tutorial on our R Studio tutorial series, and why I'm taking this tutorial is because it's very easy. R Studio or R is very easy to learn. It's kind of easier than Python, although Python has become so much popular today. So in case you've not downloaded R Studio, simply go to Google and simply go to the website rstudio.com/product/rstudio/download. Now RStudio is free, although there are other versions that are paid, but with the free one, I'm sure you'll be able to learn RStudio fairly well. So in this case, you have this page. So simply click on download and install it. So it's very easy to install. I've installed it, so I'm not going to take you through the installation of RStudio at this time. So after installing it, if you go to programs, you can simply see it there. If you scroll down, you'll see as RStudio. So scroll down and you'll see as RStudio. So just go ahead to click on it to open it, okay? So if you open it, this is what you'll see. Now this tutorial will be easy. It's going to be a bit fast, although we are starting from the scratch. It's a beginner to expert tutorial. We are not going to skip any steps. So this is what actually you'll see. What I normally do is to go to view and then go to zoom in so that I could make the font a bit bigger, right? Fine. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is to explain a bit to you about this environment. Now this is called the console. The console is where you type in commands and get the output of your commands. Then this is called the terminal, more like the Windows command prompt, but it has been embedded into RStudio. So we'll actually be working mainly in the console area. Now in this area you have the most important things you should know for now is history. This is where you have the history of what you've been typing all the while. Okay, so and then you have packages. Packages are collections of functions that are very useful. We are going to be talking about it a little later in subsequent tutorials. And you also have plots. So plot is where you actually see the output of your graph, in case you plot a graph or a curve. So before we continue, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my channel so that you'll be able to follow this lesson all the way from beginning to end. So we are about to start, and at this point I'm going to teach you one thing that actually you need to know. So to clear all of this, remember these are information for sure. You can take some time to read them. So one thing you can see from here is R is a free software that comes absolutely with no warranty. So you are welcome to redistribute it, and it's also a collaborative project. So you can actually have a good community of people to help you in case you have problems. Then you have demo, you have help, you have Q, and you have R to Q to quit. But the first thing I'm going to teach you is to remove all this because it's kind of taking all the space here. So I'm going to teach you what to do. So what to do is to press Ctrl L on the keyboard. So use like Ctrl L. So this is just press this combination of keyboard key and it actually clears the console and gives you a brand new place to start typing. So at this point, this is going to be for data science, machine learning, mathematics, and other enthusiasts that would like to learn R. So I'm going to kind of reduce this because I always like to write. If I'm solving problems in data science or machine learning or mathematics, I actually will be writing using my writing pad. And again, I'm going to collapse this panel so that when we need it, we can actually open it again. So let's start from the basics. So we're actually going to start from the basic commands. It should be double M. So now R comes with different functions you can use. For instance, you want to create a matrix, you want to do square root, you want to create an array, you want to write a function. There are a whole lot of functions that you can use in R. So let's start by talking about the first function I want to let you know, because in data science we're always talking about arrays, collections, vectors, matrices, and stuff like that. So we have a function called C. So we have a function called C. C means concatenate. So you use C to create a collection of items making up a vector. So C as a function, you open and close the brackets and you specify the contents of this function. The content of this function in case of creating a vector is the items that will make up this vector. So for instance, if I want to create a vector made up of 3 elements, 1, 2, 3, I'll simply say 1, 2, 3. So I've actually created a vector made up of 3 elements, but this vector is not stored anywhere. So if I press enter, it simply creates this vector and gives the output. So now this one here shows a kind of the serial number of the output. But now if I want to assign this vector to a variable x so that I'll be able to use it to work at some point, I could say 1, 2, 3. So at this point, I can use this vector to work at some point. So if I press enter, you can see it doesn't display on the output. So if I want it displayed on the output, I'll simply enter x and then display. Another thing I'd like you to know is that you can also use another symbol for assignment. For instance, if we say x is equal to x is assigned the vector 1, 2, 3. So at this point, it is also the same as the equal sign. So this exactly is the same as this, okay? So one thing I would like to just also show you is how to perform addition of 2 vectors. So in that case, I'm going to write a bit, because I used to advise my subscribers to form a habit of writing. So use a notebook and a pen to always write. The more you write, the more data science you are getting used to data science calculations or procedures. So I'm going to say that x equals, let's take for instance 1, 2, 6. Let's just take for instance, and y equals 1, 3, 4. So when we do x plus y, what do we expect to get? So it simply adds the corresponding items in the array, and then x plus y will give us, let's say z is equal to x plus y to give us 2, because 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 3, 5, and 4 plus 6 we have 10. So in this way, z will give us this array 2, 5, 6. So let's try to demonstrate it in R to see how it works. So at this point, I'm going to say x is equal to 1, 2, 2, 6, right? Good. And I'm going to say y, and use this symbol. Normally, I prefer a quality sign, but anyone that you become comfortable with, you are free to use. 2, 5, and 10, okay? And now I can say z is equal to x plus y, okay? So at this point, if I want to view the value of z, I could simply type z on the screen, on the console, and you can see it gives us, okay, so at this point it's 3, 7, and 16. So because we have, okay, I actually typed the wrong thing, so I'm going to change it. So to replace what you've typed, so this I'm going to explain to you at this time. Let's say I made a mistake in typing y. I want to type y is equal to 1, 3, 4, but at this point I made it 2, 5, 10. So what I can simply do is to press the up arrow. Let me just write it out to you. The up arrow gives you the history. So the history you are going to get is what you've typed before, and it's not read only. You are able to modify it when it shows up. So at this point, I'm going to press the up arrow once. So let's see. I press once, twice, and thrice. So At this point, I want to set y to be 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, and 4. So I'm going to press enter, and this time I'm going to assign z, and I'm going to check the value of z, and now it have 2, 5, 10 exactly as expected, right? Good. So now, if you have been using different variables, for instance, in this case, we've been using 3 variables, x, y, and z. So if you want to see variables that you've used, you can simply say, use the command or the function ls. So this function will give you all the variables that you've used. At this point, it's giving me at the PCL comes. So these are actually, I used them before now, but the most recent variables which you used in this lesson is x, y, and z. So to remove all the variables, what you can do is to simply say rm. So I'm going to remove arc.pcl, and I'm going to remove coms, I'm going to remove df, I'm going to remove all of classes, I'm going to remove URL, I'm going to remove wine, and I'm going to remove wine classes. So you can see some pop-up to help you type very fast. This pop-up is called IntelliSense. So I've removed all these other ones. So if I now run this function ls, you can see it gives me only 3 variables, x, y, and z. Okay, so the next thing I would like to talk about is working with matrices, but since I have limited time, I would like to stop here and continue with matrices in the next tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed it. If so, click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel, and also like this video and leave a comment to let me know how you feel.